The vast, silent expanse of the Moon Palace stretched before Chang E. Cold and impossibly still jade pillars, once gleaming with celestial promise, now stood like frozen sentinels in the perpetual silver twilight. Her feet, bare and pale, made no sound on the flawless, icy floor as she drifted past windows framing the eternal darkness of space, punctuated only by the distant, indifferent glitter of stars below. Impossibly far hung the blue jewel of earth, cloud-swirled and achingly alive. A sigh escaped her lips, forming a tiny, vanishing cloud in the frigid air. This was her kingdom, one with a desperate sip of elixir, paid for with an eternity of solitude. The grandeur felt hollow, a gilded cage suspended in the void. Her only companions were the silent jade rabbit, forever pounding herbs, and the ghost of her own longing memories of earth, sharp and sweet as summer peaches, flooded her unbidden. She saw the warm, golden light of the hearth in their humble cottage, the scent of wood smoke and roasting chestnuts, the sound of Hou Yi's deep laughter echoing as he returned from the hunt. While slung over his shoulder, she remembered the weight of his hand on hers, the shared warmth under thick blankets on cold nights, the simple joy of watching fireflies dance in their moonlit courtyard. These sensations, warmth, touch, shared breath, were ghosts now, haunting the sterile perfection of her lunar prison. The elixir had granted her immortality in this palace, but it had stolen the very essence of her life, love, connection, the vibrant pulse of mortality. The silence pressed in, heavier than stone tonight. The silence felt particularly profound, a physical weight against her skin. She walked slowly to the grand, empty balcony overlooking the earth. The jade rabbit paused in its rhythmic pounding, its dark, liquid eyes meeting hers for a fleeting moment filled with unspoken understanding before it resumed its endless, futile task. Chang E leaned against the cold balustrade, her gaze fixed on the distant planet. Was it the season of the mid-autumn festival down there? She imagined families gathering under the full moon's glow, sharing sweet mooncakes, children laughing as they pointed lanterns towards the sky. Towards her prison they celebrated her legend, the beautiful goddess in the moon. Never knowing the desolation that title truly held, their joy was a melody she could almost hear, a warmth she could almost feel, yet it remained agonizingly out of reach, separated by an unbridgeable gulf of cosmic emptiness, and her own irreversible choice. A phantom sensation brushed her cheek, the memory of Hou Yi's calloused finger tracing her jawline. She closed her eyes, yearning for that lost touch with an intensity that made her bones ache. Sometimes, in the deepest quiet, she fancied she could hear him calling her name. A faint echo carried on impossible solar winds. She would turn, heart leaping, only to face the unyielding silence and the indifferent stars. The palace offered everything except the one thing her soul craved, him. The beautiful gowns, woven from moonlight, felt cold against her skin. The celestial fruits tasted like ashes. Every perfect, unchanging detail of her existence served only to highlight the profound, irreplaceable absence at its core. Her immortality was not a blessing. It was an exquisite, eternal sentence. She drifted into the vast, echoing hall where the cassia tree grew, its branches perpetually shedding fragrant silver leaves that dissolved before touching the ground. The tree was eternal, like her, yet its constant, silent renewal felt like a mockery. She reached out, her fingers barely grazing the smooth, cool bark. Legend said Wu Gang endlessly chopped at its trunk, but even his phantom labors were silent in her world. Here, amidst the sweet, lonely scent, the weight of eternity settled upon her. Most heavily, centuries blurred into millennia. Seasons held no meaning. Change was an illusion. She remained forever young, forever beautiful, forever trapped in a single moment of regret that stretched into infinity. The tears that welled in her eyes were cold, freezing tracks down her porcelain cheeks before they could fall, leaving only a faint, icy sting. They were tears not just for lost love, but for lost time, lost growth, lost life itself. A shimmer caught her eye, a faint, golden glow emanating from a small, ornate box resting on a solitary jade pedestal in a quiet corner of the hall. Inside lay the single mortal treasure she possessed, Hou Yi's simple leather wrist guard, worn smooth by his touch. She lifted it with trembling hands, pressing it against her heart. The faint, lingering scent of sun-warmed earth and his skin, a scent preserved by magic older than the stars themselves, flooded her senses. It was a scent so profoundly human, so achingly real, that it shattered the icy calm she maintained. A sob, raw and ragged, escaped her lips, echoing faintly in the vast emptiness. This small, worn piece of leather was her most precious relic, a tangible connection to the warmth and love she had sacrificed for cold perfection. Holding it was both a comfort and a torture, a reminder of everything beautiful and lost. Finally, exhausted by the surge of grief, Chang E moved to the largest window, a great arch framing the earth in all its swirling blue and white majesty. She curled herself onto a wide, cold ledge, hugging her knees to her chest. Hou Yi's wrist guard still clutched tightly. The familiar posture offered little comfort. She watched the planet turn slowly, continents passing like dreams beneath veils of cloud. Down there, lives were lived in all their messy, fleeting glory. Love found and lost, children born, laughter shared, tears shed, endings embraced. She saw it all, a silent observer forever barred from participation. The Moon Palace, her beautiful, desolate home, was a monument to a single, sorrowful choice. As the celestial silence deepened around her, broken only by the distant, rhythmic tap of the jade rabbit's pestle, Chang E, the eternal moon goddess, rested her head against the icy glass. Her hidden sorrow, vast and cold as the cosmos itself, settled around her like a second skin, a silent lullaby for an endless, lonely night. Beneath the very moonbeams that celebrated her name, the earth glowed below, a beacon of life she could only watch, forever separated by the stars and the weight of her own immortality.